was like the other person just kind of like thought that would be a fun thing to do.
I'm trying to imagine, have I ever had a surprise blowjob?
You're about to. Later on, I'm not going to tell you when.
Yeah.
It's too late, man.
Still a surprise.
It's not too late.
This is the fan fiction come to life.
It's the opposite of an incel, because that's what Minh is. Minh is a vol cell. Yeah. Like, it's all voluntary to you. Incel is
like
an are those like weird right wing assholes who are like, women won't fuck me.
Yeah.
Because you're disgusting and gross.
But they don't get that. They blame it on the girl.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they're hateful and resentful of that.
Right.
Yeah, so you're saying I'm choosing to be celibate. I'm like a monk.
You are a vol cell.
You're like a Vulcan.
Once every 7 years, baby, just like Spock.
I was reading up on farr, motherfuckers.
Your seventh year might be coming up.
It's not just every 7 years. You can choose to do it whenever. Basically, yeah.
You getting laid with desert girls out of Burning Man?
I got laid a lot more outside of Burning Man.
Yeah.
You didn't get laid at Burning Man? How? You must have.
I don't think that was his goal.
No, it wasn't my goal.
Minh,
there was an offering. There definitely
can get laid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is all voluntary. This is his choice.
He's choosing not to fuck.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just
Don't you feel like there's a
like so many offers at Burning Man that it's tough, right?
no, I don't think there was a
Have
line.
you ever been to Burning Man?
I went to Burning Man one
Oh,
time.
did you?
Oh.
It was amazing.
Okay.
And did you get laid a lot?
You know,
A reasonable
lot.
amount?
More than once is a lot for me. You know,
Yeah.
that was,
When did you go?
Last year.
He just got back.
Awkward.
Burning Man is what he calls his right hand.
after we were married, before we got serious.
After we were married, but before we got serious.
And after the kids, but before you got serious.
In college with,
Well, Arthur and Nathan and Minh all love it.
No, I enjoy it. I don't love it as much as they may.
Arthur and Nathan love it.
Absolutely.
Specifically because
probably the boobies
availability of sex and if not and drugs, and even if not having sex, because Nathan isn't cheating on his wife, obviously.
Yeah,
but he sure loves to look at boobs.
But, yeah,
absolutely,
lots of nudity.
He's a man's man.
he redefines what cheating is.
Like so they're going to it from a very specific sex and girl focused.
I didn't know what to think about
approach.
Don't make anything spill this time.
Yeah.
No.
I'm drunker than I was.
So. Whereas I think Minh was going for more of a spiritual, artistic vision.
Yeah. I actually had quite an experience out there. You know, I felt like I was being reborn.
I had never even heard of Burning Man, and then Matt talked about someday having a LARP at Burning Man.
That was an idea for a while.
And then
Burning Man is literally what his vision of hell is, you know.
And then somebody
imagine Matt in sensible slacks and a sweater vest.
That think he's an art installation.
Walking through Burning Man.
Like Steve Jobs.
It's literally impossible to imagine.
They're just going to think that he's trying to do this art thing where he's being
I have
banal.
a vivid imagination, and I can't imagine.
Filming
I could
a Docker's
imagine
at
that.
it.
Yeah, is this some kind of weird?
It's
yeah,
super
Sean's
fucking
right.
ironic.
Is this some kind of
Cialis.
weird installation? Like, are we supposed to interact with it? Does it speak? Yeah, it's not his scene, man.
Definitely not.
It's crazy.
But what did you think of it, Philippe?
Well, I didn't have expectations coming in really, because except for that blurb, and I thought it was like people camping out and very. It wasn't also. This was also.
How long were you there
15
for?
years ago or so.
You said it was last.
We were
year.
together 15 years ago. Keep
going. What was before?
Was it not quite as
It wasn't as big.
elaborate as it is now?
Yeah, it's
Not
from what
quite
I
as
hear. I
much
don't
of
know
a-
what it's like now since I've been married to the love of my life. But before that, when I was still a seeker, it was
A wanderluster.
yeah, it was a little bit more like I thought it was a little bit more probably less popular in some ways. You know, it was still like
it's
kind
like
of
70,000 people
and,
now.
He was into it before. It was cool.
or it was just becoming cool. Like I never knew what it was. Yeah, so it was just a thing to do, but it was crazy because there's a lot of different people who are looking for a lot of different things there, and
were there any yurts?
There were yurts,
lots of yurts.
Did you sleep in a
I
yurt?
erected a yurt. A few yurts when I was there.
Yeah,
you know there were yurts. What I remember is that you could walk from camp to camp and basically get fed and get drugs and have sex if you really like.
Apparently, there's a gay quadrant of Burning Man where it is literally basically just
Gay orgy.
an orgy.
Hedon.
Yeah.
It's like Hedon. It's
Ancient
Sodom and
Roman
Gomorrah
times.
rolled into one. Yeah, I don't know if it was quite as maybe like I don't know branded as it is now. Like in some ways, like I think there was still more like there were older people too. Lots of old people.
Oh, they
like,
let oldies in.
there was more oldies in, and
Are you?
there was
lost
there was
Aaron.
young people, and it just
Are you ageist?
No, I just was like. I just think it was I think that was a good thing. I just thought it was more like a bunch of seekers and different people who there.
It was about the art back then.
Yeah,
man.
it was a little bit more like more of a not like hey let's go to Burning Man. It was just like there's this thing that's really cool. It was kind of just becoming like more mainstream.
Known.
And
When was
For a lot
the-
of time,
when was the
you would
first
have to
one?
know someone to even know about it.
Yeah, that was it was
Yeah,
after
was
that.
artsy.
The grassroots.
You know,
It was kind of
once it started showing up in like
The
TV
New York
shows or
Times.
articles were being
Yeah.
written about it in
Then
the
the secret's
LA
out.
Times. Then
once
secrets out.
Did it begin in the 80s?
I think the 70s.
Yeah, it's
70s?
been around.
Yeah, that seems like a 70s thing.
Well, there you go.
There's a
Next
scene in one of
Corrections
the
Corner.
there's a scene in one of the not Sex of the City, Tales of the City, one of the Tales of the
Yeah.
City novels. They go to Burning Man, and those books were written in like the 70s.
Okay.
Aaron, you would never go out to Burning Man?
Probably not. Not now.
It's probably like
I'm not built for the desert.
Every single thing about it sounds horrible. Every
If there's
single
a-
thing about
If there's
it
a Burning
sounds
Man
horrible.
in the English countryside, I might be down. Like by Stonehenge.
So they have
or
no
something.
money at Burning Man, right? So everything's done by barter
Barter.
system.
Yeah. That was amazing to
I
me.
hate that.
Oh, you what?
Because what if I want something very specific?
most people will give you anything you want if you really just if you just kind of come and beg or say a little poem or something stupid like that, they'll just like give you whatever you want.
You had a great time, Philippe, it sounds like.
Honestly, like at the time I thought I had a fairly horrible time at the time, but then, it's like one of those things that I fondly remember despite
You're glad you did it.
Yeah.
it's
I
like
kind of forgot you did it.
I was hot and miserable a lot of the time.
Sure.
And we
It's
just
in
went
the desert.
Yeah, we didn't go in with a real plan or lodgings. Like we slept
Yeah.
in
You
a
don't need it.
pickup truck, and it was fine.
Who were you with?
I was with a friend from college. I don't know if I should call him
Unnamed.
out.
Okay.
But and he took me up there, and we literally we were hanging out, and he's like, "Do you want to go to Burning Man?" And we went, and
Okay.
he was able to. He was a guy who can get into places and do things, and
This was before tickets were $400 and you had to buy them
Ridiculous.
a year in advance
there were actually
online.
Yeah, there were tickets, but he could get them, and they were reasonably expensive. But it was something that not everybody was trying to do it yet. So, and we just drove up and just kind of explored and stuck together. And
You know what my version of Burning Man is? Comic-Con.
right,
Like that's air conditioned, which is a big plus.
it is. But there's a lot of lines. It's like there's a lot.
I've
of
never
lines.
been there either, but I can imagine myself having fun at Comic-Con. I cannot imagine myself having much fun at Burning Man.
I thought you were going to say Mardi Gras because there's not very much sexuality at Comic-Con.
That is where
That
you're
is
wrong.
so wrong.
I know I would
Those
disagree.
nerds are down to fuck.
They are GTF. So the same friend.
There are gay guys who go to Comic-Con.
And clean up.
Yeah, but that wasn't what I was gonna say. But yeah, but they I was going to say dress up as superheroes, but they're not dressed up. It's spray painted onto their godlike
muscles.
physiques.
Yeah.
And they just walk around Comic-Con being hot, naked superheroes. That I can imagine having a good time
in the
at.
attention.
Okay.
Would
Burning
you guys?
Man, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, Burning Man's a lot like that. You will run into probably superhero-esque people with sprayed on.
Oh, absolutely.
What's weird about Burning Man is it doesn't seem a go with the Surgeon General's like thoughts about how much sun exposure you should have. There seems to be a lot of flaunting.
Literally sunburning men.
Oh my god,
A lot of unprotected skin. is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
exactly. There's and honestly,
Comic-Con, all the skin is
you
protected.
can have a
Yeah,
lot
they
more
have the spray
sex.
paint.
You can have a lot of sex at Burning Man if you really don't care about the smell of the partner. But
Right. Guess where Comic-Con takes place? A fucking hotel. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Burning Man,
Stop.
people
There's
are
soap.
stinky.
There's little soaps.
Even the hot people are stinky, and so sex has something to do with smell. I mean, you're
I
smelling.
think you could go to Comic-Con and you would have a fucking mind-blowing experience.
So-
It'd be so much more dangerous, though.
So-
You're, at Burning Man, you're out in the middle of nowhere. It's super flat.
Yeah.
There are no
obstacles.
obstacles.
It's more dangerous to
No,
be in a hotel
Absolutely.
than in the middle of the desert.
think
where
it
you might
is
just
in
Same
some
jump
way
off and
you could
die.
fall down a
Yeah.
flight of stairs or
All
something.
right.
Well, here's the thing. At Burning
Can we
Man,
hit play on this?
Yeah,
shit?
I drank a
You
drink.
lost her.
I drank a drink
You
at
had
Yeah,
her.
we
Burning
can
Man.
keep chatting. Can we just punch that
All
triangle?
right.
And
You want to start?
Triangle.
You want to give
Fuck
us?
yeah.
triangle.
Deep dive in
Yeah.
Burning Man.
Jesus fucking Christ. Punch the triangle. Punch the triangle.
I know.
Actually-
It's like having sex with Nurse Ratchet, you know? Fucking punch that triangle, you goddamn lobotomized piece of shit.
You guys, my improv group
this
isn't
is
called.
delaying things.
It's not called Energized Cloud anymore.
Who has the remote control?
Do we need 6 seconds of silence for
My
for
improv
Jake?
group is called
Shh.
Punch the Triangle.
Punch that triangle.
Okay, and hold. Okay.
That was the hardest hold I've ever
I know. I
Me
could
too.
feel my smile muscles like sparkling.
Yeah, that one was tough. I felt longer than normal,
Yeah.
right?
We're ready to punch that
All right.
triangle.
You want to
Punch the
start the
triangle.
show?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Warp.